AAA gaming studios are falling apart, and franchises that used to define the industry have completely tanked. While these big studios keep chasing their next big cash grab with half-baked Fortnite clones no one asked for, let their investors force story-driven studios into building live service games, and jam microtransactions and season passes into single-player experiences, small game studios, hell, even one guy in some cases, have absolutely embarrassed them with their passion projects that deliver incredible experiences for a fraction of the cost. This year, we've seen small studios dominate the gaming landscape, and it's only getting started. Gamers aren't just noticing, they're switching, because these games are made by gamers for gamers. Have you switched yet? I've switched, and these games have brought back the fun I once had when I was younger. In order to understand the present state of big AAA gaming studios, we have to travel back to the past to understand how far they've fallen. Let's focus on just one major gaming franchise, Assassin's Creed, one of my personal favorites. Teleport back with me to June 2nd, 2009, when Assassin's Creed 2 was shown off on the big screen at the E3 gaming conference. Absolutely incredible. E3 was one of the most exciting times of the year for gaming, with banger after banger of AAA games being shown off. Then E3 started dwindling in 2019. It officially shut down in December of 2023, and the downward spiral of AAA gaming soon followed. Fast forward to 2025, and all I have to say is RIP to my guy, Ezio Auditore. Ubisoft is doing him no justice in the Assassin's Creed franchise anymore. Gone are the days of all the amazing AAA games, with their great stories and gameplay, a thing of the past. This is just one example of many big AAA games that have failed to capture the fun, instead focusing on taking the money from our pockets. That's why in 2025, we've seen the quick rise of the small game studios because they keep three critical factors in mind: creativity, innovation, and fun, which are the beating heart of their games. In March 2025, two games came out that couldn't be more different: Split Fiction and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Against my better judgment, I purchased Assassin's Creed Shadows with the delusional hope that one of my favorite game franchises would finally get better again. It ended up being an endless slog, which I unfortunately grinded out 89 hours just to try to make it worth the $70 price tag. But I just couldn't do any more of the 36 repetitive shrines or the 38 similar forts, so I quickly finished the generic revenge story and moved on. The golden age of the Creed is gone, and I've finally given up hope that the franchise will ever be saved. Just like that, Assassin's Creed disappeared from my mind like a shadow on a cloudy day. Whereas Split Fiction is a bright memory, and one game I still constantly think about nearly every week, wishing I had the time to play through it again. Hazelight Studios, the creators behind the 2021 Game of the Year winner, It Takes Two, cranked up their imagination to 1,000% to make Split Fiction. Split Fiction is different from Assassin's Creed Shadows in all the good ways because it has all of the three critical factors I mentioned. Creativity. Every level through the main story and all the side stories, you literally play something different each time, from sci-fi and fantasy stories that were written by the two main characters, Mio, the sci-fi author, and Zoe, the fantasy author. Innovation. Not only are the environments completely different, but so is the gameplay. It's primarily a third-person action-adventure game, but it's also a puzzle platformer, a 2D side-scroller, an isometric game, a racing game, an extreme sports game, and even a twin-stick shooter. Fun. Hazelight Studios blended all of this perfectly into a very focused 12 to 15 hour long package that was a blast to play. Best of all, I got to experience it all in couch co-op with my son. But why did it work? Electronic Arts helped fund the game through their EA Originals program, but it only succeeded because Hazelight Studios had complete creative control. So why spend $70 on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which contains a ton of dull content just to make the game last 100 plus hours, when you can spend $50 in Split Fiction, where the developers make every minute count for an unforgettable experience. Plus then you can use the remaining $20 to buy another game like Hollow Knight Silksong for the same price. To this day, I still close my eyes at night and see that crazy, trippy final level in Split Fiction. It's unbelievable, something I've never witnessed in a game before, and is exactly what every gamer should experience for themselves. Split Fiction was the trigger I needed to shift into the incredible small gaming studio landscape in 2025. Assassin's Creed Shadows had so many hands in the pot that what creative vision they might have had become fragmented and compartmentalized. Whereas small studios foster creativity and a cohesive vision. I saw this in each of the games from small studios that I've played this year, like Clair Obscur Expedition 33 in April, Hell Is Us and Shape of Dreams in September, Absalom in October, Dispatch in November, and Witchfire, the Reckoning update in early access this month. With core development teams ranging from one person all the way up to approximately 80 people, all these games provided something creative, innovative, and fun, because these studios created something they themselves wanted to play, with absolutely no compromises. For Clair Obscur Expedition 33, I mean, let's be real, what didn't they do? Sandfall Interactive created a game with an impactful story and incredible music that evoked an emotion with certain parts of the story moving me to tears. They innovated the turn-based combat system to make it very interactive and continuously engaging, and they made a beautiful world, one that was actually well optimized and performed well in Unreal Engine 5. That's a rare feat in itself. Hell Is Us developers decided, fuck it, we aren't going to have traditional navigation with the map. We'll give you a notepad, some clues, and unique locations to let you find your own way through hell. In doing so, the developers didn't hold our hand and insult our intelligence. Shape of Dreams had an addictive gameplay loop, fast-paced combat, a really stylized dream world to mess around in, and a versatile cast of characters that all played very differently. Absalom combined a beat-em-up game with roguelite elements. It took me back to my younger days playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on an arcade machine, except it spiced things up a bit with a roguelike twist that allowed the player to create unique builds every run. They also created changes in characters you meet, bosses you fight, things you find, or new paths to take, so every run felt like you were constantly encountering something new. Dispatch completely shook up the superhero formula, with a broken hero dispatching villains to reform them into superheroes, which created a unique dynamic between the main character Robert and the rest of his team at the Superhero Dispatch Network. This led to many memorable characters that made you care about them, and weighty choices that could completely change the narrative. Witchfire is a PvE extraction game that combines magic, smooth first-person shooting, roguelite elements, amazing graphics, elaborate upgrade systems, and lets you play as a badass witch hunter. What more could you want? All these games are wildly different, yet bring something unique. What big AAA flop has any unique characteristics? You can't get a unique game by taking advice from your investors who've never even played a game before. They have no clue, and it clearly shows. All these games mentioned had budgets well south of $100 million, while selling hundreds of thousands to millions of copies. The 2025 Game of the Year, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, absolutely destroyed the Game Award records with 11 nominations and 9 awards, and it only cost $10 million to make. Compare that to the big AAA gaming flops costing well north of $100 million, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and Mind's Eye in 2025. And then you had Dragon Age, The Veilguard, Concord, and Star Wars Outlaws in 2024, which requires selling millions of copies just to break even, and millions more to make a good profit. Instead, it led to studios being shut down and massive losses of jobs. Keeping their budget low, small game studios can then sell their game at a smaller price point, and in most instances, way less than the AAA industry standard of $70, making the game more accessible to a wider gaming audience. This leads to gamers being able to take a chance on a game without forking over $70, a higher amount of copies sold, a lower break-even point, and a higher chance to make a profit, which can then lead to free updates and DLC, or investing the profit into their next creative adventure. The small studio games I mentioned were just a small number of the many more I wish I had time to play, like Ball X Pit, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Megabonk, The Altars, Blue Prince, Hades 2, and Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. What small studio games have you been enjoying this year? I'm not saying I'll never buy a AAA game again. Even in the last couple of years, I've bought games like Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, and Alan Wake 2, which are both great games. But it's way more rare now than it used to be, finding interesting big AAA games. The options of high-quality, small studio games are endless, and that's where most of my time and money will be spent now and into the future, because these developers bring the creativity, innovation, and fun. You can check out all the games I've played this year in my previous videos, except Witchfire, which I'll be bringing your way soon. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on gaming.